Sean Magennis is our guest here on Indiana in the Morning, and we're talking about office ogres. Our conversation brought to you by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Sean, you've got me intrigued here. What is an office ogre?
Well, a number of different descriptions, but let's just say a perpetual bully who either doesn't care or doesn't know, but usually they do, the very negative impact they're having on those around them and the cost of that behavior to the organization that they may be leading or may be a part of, but more importantly, to the individual that's the recipient of that bullying. And it could be passive-aggressive bullying, it could be intentional, it could be a combination of both.
Now, you're the president at CEO Coaching International, a global company that assembled a dream team of highly trained, battle-tested coaches. Sean,
yes.
Sean, it's interesting to me that you say the cost when you consider somebody who is like that, an office ogre type of personality. Are you talking cost in terms of what it costs the company in terms of business lost, or the potential for lawsuits by employees and that sort of thing?
Yep, it's a combination of those. And I think it starts with, in all of the work that we do with our clients, we begin with truly understanding the culture of the organization, the importance of having the right people in the right seat, and to create the conditions where people actually want to come to work in the morning. I bound into work every day because I love what I do. I'm surrounded by professional people. We don't accept drama in our business, and we do not abide by any kind of bullying. So having that zero tolerance in organizations creates a culture where, if somebody is breaching that rule that you put in place, that best practice, it becomes evident, and usually it gets self-policed. However, if an organization doesn't care about the culture, and part of caring about the culture is caring about people, and I find it very surprising today that company leaders are not concerned in a very low unemployment marketplace where it's difficult to find good people. If you're not building a culture where people enjoy coming to work, they're fulfilled, they're motivated, they're managed correctly, then the costs of that are extraordinary. Just finding new people to replace them and put them in positions usually takes a good year of investment, time, supervision, training to get a person up to speed. The next year you get productivity and profitability from that individual. So imagine, an environment where your turnover is extraordinarily high because of these bad apples or because of an environment that's created by individuals that don't either know how to manage people correctly, or they're just bad apples.
Well, it sounds like the ultimate in soft skills when we think about that whole concept of business.
In soft skills.
Yeah, but is it learned behavior, or is it just something that our culture as a whole basically cultivates in people?
That's a great question. I think any behavior can be unlearned. I mean, if you're naturally predisposed to criticize people because you have a high standard, that's one thing. And I think people respect others that, hold themselves to a high standard. However, if the behavior is repetitive and it's demeaning and it's humiliating, and it's not just you that's the recipient of that, it may be other people, that's usually that gets known very well in an organization, and people end up avoiding people like that. But if you have a supervisor that's responsible, and for some reason they have a solid relationship with their boss, maybe they curry favor, maybe they're a brown nose, and the boss doesn't believe it, it's a he said, she said, the damage then occurs to the individual recipient of that behavior, and they check out. So, part of the reality is a lot of this is hidden. It's below the surface, and you get a bunch of people that checked out. They've sort of in their own minds quit from, putting everything into their roles and going the extra mile. They may be emotionally beaten down. They don't have a mechanism, or they're not comfortable bringing it up. And so, you get the slippery slope effect. There are absolute cures for this. So in an organization where you have a good human resources department who are very skillful and well-trained, that's your first port of call. A meeting with them in a calm manner where you've documented some of these instances is going to be very important for you to give them the information, because it's not illegal. Workplace bullying is not illegal. What is illegal is harassment based on, the protected categories like age and sexual orientation and those types of things, race. But workplace bullying should have laws associated with it, but it doesn't. Think of now remote work, where we have a large percentage of the population now working either in a hybrid fashion or working from home. They can be cyberbullied. So keep records of nasty emails. Make sure that if you are humiliated or feeling in some way, that this repetitive behavior is damaging to you, it's likely happening to somebody else, and there are mechanisms for you to do that. If you're a boss and running a company, you need to be very, very sure that there is a mechanism in place for people to be able to share, whether it's you can do it anonymously, you can do it confidentially, and then make sure that you check up on these things. Don't just pay them lip service, but you need to be responsive to these things because, again, if you don't, the ramifications in terms of cost, lost productivity, churn, those things can come back to haunt you.
Now, you're at a place called CEO Coaching International. I would assume then that it's very easy for behaviors such as those you've been describing to trickle down from the very top, and that those that do trickle down from there are the most difficult to get rid of.
They are. And, the reality there is, and our coaches are very adept at doing this, is literally hold up a mirror to the individual. We use something called the 360-degree feedback tool, which is an anonymous tool that gives a boss, a supervisor, an owner of the business feedback from 10, 11, 12, you could do any number. And the feedback can be very specific. And boy, is that interesting when you get that back and you see how what the impact of your behavior is in certain areas. It's very valuable. And for most owners and leaders of companies that we work with, they don't come to us for coaching unless they're a learner, unless they're curious, unless they really want to improve their own leadership ability and the success of their company. When they see the results of that survey, it gives them pause, it gives them an opportunity to kind of say, wow, I thought this, I've been so busy driving the business based on my own opinions, perceptions, reality. I was not taking into consideration what other people think. And when you get a number of different people, then you know that it's accurate because, 6 people out of 11 or out of, 6 out of 6 or 10 out of 10 have said, you've got a blind spot here. You treat people poorly. You're rough. You don't necessarily mean it, but boy, do you come across tough. And there are some people that won't even, walk in the same aisle as you or down the same corridor because you instill fear in them. And that feedback is so valuable.
I'm guessing then that when you are able to implement strategies that are going to help to reverse that trend, that the success stories are pretty spectacular.
Spectacular success stories. Literally, some people have turned around not only themselves, but turned around the trajectory of their organizations. You have to be prepared, though, to work on those blind spots. And if you are, people rally very quickly. It's a strange part of human nature is that we become very forgiving if an individual puts in the effort, acknowledges the error, and then actually works to change it. And it isn't just, hey, I thank you, I heard you, but I'm not changing my behavior. The successes are dramatic.
Sean Magennis is the president of CEO Coaching International. Where do we learn more about your company? CEOcoachinginternational.com. We have an extensive website. We have some great case studies. And if any of your listeners would like to download some of the tools, the 360 tool, they're all available on our website. And, take responsibility for if you're getting feedback that somebody in your organization or several people are being bullied, jump on it. It's an opportunity for you to lead. It's an opportunity to correct the behavior or the issue, and you will find
you will find significant success and results in it.
You know, it's interesting as you said that. I sort of got the image of the old Westerns where someone got bit by the rattlesnake and had to suck the venom out. That's what you're basically trying to do, is suck the venom out.
It's painful, but boy, when you get it there and the cure is there, you'll end up with a scar, but it'll be a healthy scar, and you'll remember it, and hopefully not make the mistake again.
Beautiful. Sean, thanks so much for spending time with us. Enjoy the weather in Dallas today.
Thank you for having me. Have a wonderful day.
It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160.